Holy brothers and sisters, it's story time. Changing our approach, that's the name of the story. Reb Chaim was a chassid who made his living buying and selling merchandise in the European markets. Every free moment he had was devoted to studying Torah. Once a year he would travel to spend time with his Rebbe and fill up on inspiration and encouragement. Known as a scholar and righteous man, Reb Chaim was always greeted with great respect. On Shabbat, they honored him by calling him up for the final aliyah of the Torah, reading Maftir, and everyone knew that Reb Chaim's aliyah to the Torah would be followed by a generous contribution to the synagogue. On one such trip, Chaim entered his Rebbe's private study for Yechidot, a highly personal and precious soul-to-soul meeting, time of deep connection. When they were together, Chaim poured out his heart, telling his Rebbe of an extremely difficult challenge he was facing in his Torah observance. "Every day my service to God is disturbed," he began. "I am hot-tempered, and I easily get angry and upset. And I don't get upset just about big things. Even the small stuff sets me off. When things don't go as planned, or people don't do what I ask them to do, in short, when I don't get my way, I blow up." He finished his heartfelt description and eagerly waited for his Rebbe's response. Chaim had been in Yechidot many times before and merited receiving answers and instructions on a variety of matters. This time, however, was different. The Rebbe barely addressed the question. Instead, he waved his hand dismissively and said, "Your problem is really very small and insignificant. In fact, it isn't really a problem at all." Chaim was shocked. He'd waited a long time to tell his Rebbe this problem and longed to hear a good solution. "But Rebbe, for me, this is a big problem. I feel terrible every time I explode, and yet I do it again and again." The Rebbe waved his hand again. "That is a very small issue, and really it's not a problem at all." Chaim refused to give up and described the whole problem again, emphasizing how hard it was for him and how it pained him and those around him. "Maybe now the Rebbe will answer me," Chaim added, hopefully. "It's a tiny problem, and in fact it's not really a problem at all," the Rebbe responded. Even a fourth time of explaining the problem was met with the exact same response. There was nothing left to do, and Chaim left the Rebbe's room dejected and disappointed. "I can't believe I didn't get an answer," he muttered. After Chaim left the room, the Rebbe called in his shamish, administrator, and instructed him not to give Reb Chaim his customary honor of Maftir on Shabbos. Instead, give him Galila, the retying of the Sefer of the Torah scroll at the end of the reading that was usually given to children. The shamish was astonished by the Rebbe's request, as he imagined what the reaction would be in synagogue. As Shabbos approached, the shamish became increasingly worried about what he had to do. It's best to tell the truth and warn him, he thought. He met with Chaim and told him that he would be honored with Galila instead of his customary Maftir. Naturally, Chaim began to complain and loudly voiced his opposition. When the shamish explained that it was a directive straight from the Rebbe, he calmed down. The Rebbe must be testing me, Chaim decided. Shabbat arrived, and as the local Hasidim greeted Chaim, they assumed he would have the usual honor and give his usual generous donation. Everyone was stunned when someone else was honored with Maftir. They all turned to look at Chaim, and their shock grew even greater. Chaim just stood there completely calm. Shortly afterward, when he was honored with Galila, the congregants were certain that Chaim would get angry, yet he strode up to the Torah with a little smile on his face and a niggin on his lips. He tied the Torah scroll and quietly returned to his seat. What's going on? Everyone wondered. When the prayers ended, Chaim remained in the synagogue to talk with the Rebbe. He approached him and the Rebbe smiled. Chaim smiled back. I see that your problem is not as great as you said it was, the Rebbe began. They tried to dishonor you in front of everyone, but you didn't get angry. Of course not, Rebbe, said Chaim. I didn't get angry because I knew it was a test from you. Now, had they really wanted to make me angry, you can't imagine how I would have reacted. Well, that was exactly my intention, the Rebbe responded. Listen to me carefully. It is always just a test. God is constantly testing and assessing you. He sits up in heaven with all the angels who are watching you to see your reaction. The whole world looks very different when viewed from that perspective. God has many messengers. Everyone around you, the people who annoy you, they are all his emissaries and part of the test. He is conducting to see your reaction. Always look at it this way and the world will appear completely different. You won't have to overcome your anger since you won't even have a reason to be angry. Mashiach now.